All right, welcome back to another deep dive.
Another one.
Today we're heading into the woods.
Ooh, sounds spooky.
Not for a hike or some, granola crunching nature walk.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're going after something a bit more unexpected.
Lay it on me.
The Armillaria Ostoyae fungus.
Armillaria Ostoyae.
Ever heard of it?
Hmm.
Can't say that I have. Maybe not by that name, but you definitely know its street name.
Hit me.
The honey mushroom.
Oh, honey mushrooms. Yeah, I know those.
Exactly.
Pretty common, right?
Yeah.
North America, Asia, cooler parts of the northern hemisphere.
Right. If you've walked through a forest there, you've probably seen these little guys popping up.
For sure, they're all over the place.
And they look exactly like you'd picture a mushroom.
Yeah.
Creamish brown, little scales on top, a ring around the stem.
The whole deal.
The whole deal.
Classic mushroom look.
But what's wild is that what we see above ground
Yeah.
is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Literally. Most of this fungus lives underground.
Underground, huh? So there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Oh, yeah.
What we see, those mushrooms, are just the fruiting bodies.
Right.
The bulk of the organism is this massive, sprawling network of mycelium.
Mycelium.
Think of it like a vast root system, but for fungus.
Okay, I'm with you.
And it's through this network that it really starts to get freaky.
Freaky in a good way?
Oh, in a good way. Definitely in a good way.
Okay, good.
Well, good and freaky, you know?
Because you mentioned before we started that this thing gets huge EE.
Yeah.
Like, how huge are we talking?
Well, let's put it this way.
Okay.
Picture a fungus so big that it covers an area larger than some towns.
Whoa, hold on.
That's the reality of the humongous fungus.
Humongous fungus.
A specific Armillaria Ostoyae individual
Okay.
that's chilling out in Malheur National Forest, Oregon.
Okay, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Humongous fungus. Is that its actual scientific name?
No. Scientists are way less creative than that.
Yeah.
But that's what it's become known as.
I see.
This thing covers over 3.7 square miles.
3.7 square miles.
Which is mind-boggling when you consider it's all one organism.
All one organism.
And get this, it's not just spreading out. It's been doing so for thousands of years.
Thousands. So like older than the pyramids of Egypt? Older than
8,000 years old?
8,000 years old.
That's older than most human civilizations.
So this thing has been alive throughout pretty much all of recorded history.
Pretty much.
Quietly spreading underground.
Just doing its thing.
Wow, that is crazy.
Right?
It's like some ancient underground forest being...
It's like something out of a fantasy novel.
And I can't even imagine how much does something that size even weigh?
Estimates put it around a staggering 35,000 tons.
35,000 tons.
That's like stacking up a whole bunch of blue whales, which to me is just an impossible visual.
I can't even picture that.
But it gives you a sense of the scale,
No,
right?
well, that's a lot of fungus.
A whole lot of fun.
And we're not even done with the biggest fungus awards.
Oh, there's more.
You mentioned another one. In Michigan, right?
Right, the Michigan Monster, as some call it.
The Michigan Monster, okay.
Though this one's a bit smaller.
Okay.
It still covers a whopping 91 acres.
91 acres is still pretty huge.
Oh, yeah, definitely not small potatoes.
And what's really fascinating about this one is that scientists were actually able to trace its lineage.
Its lineage.
Yeah, like its family tree.
How do you even do that with a fungus?
I know, right? It sounds impossible.
Well, using some clever genetic techniques.
Okay.
They basically did a fungal DNA test.
A fungal DNA test. That's wild.
And get this, they traced it back to a parent fungus in Ontario, Canada.
Wait, so this fungus basically migrated across international borders?
It did.
Over how long? Thousands of years, too?
Yep, millennia.
It slowly spread, growing over time.
Like a fungal empire, slowly expanding its territory.
And ultimately reaching a massive 440 tons.
440 tons of pure fungal goodness.
The journey this thing has been on is just wild.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
So how does it even work? I mean, how does a fungus pull off this continental drift thing and get so massive in the first place?
That's the million-dollar question.
Is there, like, a fungal queen somewhere directing traffic?
Huh. I wish. It'd make things a lot easier to study.
Right.
But the process is pretty incredible.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It all starts with spores.
Spores, right, those tiny little things.
Tiny reproductive cells, like seeds, but way smaller,
Right.
that the mushrooms release.
Okay, so these spores are basically fungal babies.
In a way, yeah.
And how do they grow into giant mega fungi?
Well, these spores have different mating types.
Mating types, like fungal genders.
Kinda, yeah.
So they got to find the one, their soulmate spore, to get things going.
Exactly.
Are there fungal dating apps out there? Tinder for spores?
Haha, I'm sure someone's working on that app as we speak.
That would be amazing.
But seriously, when compatible spores meet,
Yeah.
they fuse together, and a new fungal colony starts to form.
So it's like a fungal love story.
You could say that.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
And this is where the real magic happens.
Ooh, magic. Tell me more.
Armillaria Ostoyae creates these special structures called rhizomorphs.
Rhizomorphs, what are those?
Think of them like long black cords that weave their way through the soil.
Okay, cords.
Yeah.
Where have I heard about fungal cords before?
I don't know.
Oh, right, those zombie ant things.
Oh, yeah.
Is this related to that at all?
Not quite, though. The fungal world is full of mind-blowing parasite stories.
I bet. We should do a deep dive on that sometime.
Definitely. That's for another deep dive, though.
Okay, so back to these rhizomorphs.
Right.
They're less about mind control
Thankfully.
and more about resource management.
Exactly.
They act like nutrient highways, allowing the fungus to suck up resources from over vast distances. So it's like the fungus built itself a super efficient delivery system,
Pretty much.
like Amazon Prime, but for decaying wood and stuff.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's impressive.
It's this network of rhizomorphs that allows the fungus to spread so far and wide,
I see.
accessing food sources that other organisms can't reach.
That makes sense.
And that, my friend, is how you get a humongous fungus.
A humongous fungus, wow.
It's a testament to the power of fungal networks.
I'm definitely starting to see these honey mushrooms in a new light now.
Me too. They're much more complex than they seem at first glance.
So much more going on beneath the surface.
Always. With fungi, there's always more going on beneath the surface. But these rhizomorphs, they're not just for transport.
Oh,
They're also the fungus's secret weapon.
a secret weapon.
You see,
Yeah.
Armillaria Ostoyae has a bit of a dark side.
Oh, dark side. Our gentle giant has a sinister secret.
Well, gentle giant might be a bit of a misnomer.
Okay.
Armillaria Ostoyae is actually a pathogen.
A pathogen. So it causes disease.
It does.
So this giant underground network is not just sipping on plant juice.
Nope.
It's straight up attacking trees.
It is.
Tell me more. This is getting good.
It is kind of badass in a morbid way.
Okay.
These rhizomorphs I mentioned, they don't just spread out. They can actually penetrate the roots of trees,
Oh, wow.
spreading the fungal infection,
Oh,
and ultimately, well, killing the tree.
damn. Nature is metal.
It really is.
So this fungus is like a silent assassin,
I like that analogy.
taking down trees from below while looking all innocent with its cute little honey mushrooms above ground.
Exactly. It's a master of deception.
What kind of trees are we talking here? Like the majestic redwoods.
Not quite redwoods,
Okay.
but it does go after some of our most iconic and commercially valuable trees,
Ooh, that's not good.
especially in the western U.S. and Canada.
Like what?
We're talking Douglas fir, true firs, pines, western hemlock.
So these are like the big boys of the forest,
They are the backbone of many forests.
and this tiny little fungus is taking them down.
It is. Size really doesn't matter in the fungal world.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But surely there's got to be a way to stop it, right? We can't just let this thing run rampant and destroy all the forests.
You'd think so, but it's surprisingly tough to manage. It can survive in stumps for decades.
Decades.
Just waiting for its next victim.
It's like a fungal zombie apocalypse.
Kinda.
We're doomed to live in a world of dead trees and giant mushrooms.
Not necessarily doomed, but it's definitely a challenge.
So what can we do?
The main approach right now is prevention,
Okay.
focusing on replanting with more resistant species.
Resistant species. So like trees that the fungus doesn't like?
Exactly.
What kind of trees are those?
Like western red cedar and deciduous trees.
So those are like the fungus fighters of the forest.
You could say that.
They're not immune, but they're less susceptible to Armillaria Ostoyae's attack.
Right.
So it's a constant battle then.
It is.
An epic showdown between trees and fungus.
Playing out beneath our feet.
Nature never gets boring, does it?
It really doesn't.
And just when you think you've got Armillaria Ostoyae figured out,
What?
it throws you another curveball.
Okay, I like curveballs.
I remember how we talked about how it glows in the dark.
Oh yeah, the whole foxfire thing.
Like straight out of a fairy tale.
It's magical.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, the science behind the glow is pretty cool.
All right, let's hear it.
It's called bioluminescence.
Bioluminescence.
And it's caused by a chemical reaction inside the fungus.
Okay.
Basically, an enzyme called luciferase interacts with oxygen and a compound called luciferin.
Luciferin, got it.
And boom light.
So like a natural rave happening inside the fungus.
You could say that.
Tiny little mushroom DJs spinning glowing beats.
Uh-huh. I love that image.
But the funny thing is,
Yeah.
scientists are still debating why the heck these fungi glow in the first place.
I know, right?
They don't know.
Nope, it's still a bit of a mystery.
I figured they'd have that figured out by now.
You'd think so, but fungi are full of surprises.
So what are the theories?
Some think it might be to attract insects to help spread spores.
Okay, so like a fungal nightclub.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Others say it could be a defense mechanism.
To like scare away predators?
Yeah, startle them or confuse them.
That's clever.
Or maybe it's just a way to communicate.
Like a fungal Morse code.
Exactly.
Wow, we just don't know for sure.
We don't.
Man, fungi are weird.
They are.
And kind of awesome in a creepy sort of way.
I agree.
But, all this talk about tree killing and glowing in the dark.
Yeah.
It's making me wonder if maybe we've been too quick to judge our friend Armillaria Ostoyae.
Interesting point.
Is it really all bad?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it really highlights the complexities of the natural world.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, from a human perspective, it can be a pain in the butt when it attacks our commercially valuable trees.
Right, you need those trees.
But from an ecological standpoint,
Okay.
it's playing a vital role.
Okay, I'm listening. How can a tree-killing fungus be good for the environment?
Well, for one, it's a master decomposer.
A decomposer. So it breaks down stuff.
Exactly. It breaks down dead wood,
Okay.
recycling nutrients back into the soil.
Just like a fungal recycler.
Pretty much.
That's actually pretty...
And in natural forests, it can actually contribute to biodiversity.
Biodiversity. Explain that one to me.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
By taking down some trees,
Right.
it creates gaps in the canopy.
Gaps in the canopy, so like openings.
Yes, letting sunlight reach the forest floor.
Ah, I see.
This allows for the growth of different plant species.
Which means more diversity.
Exactly, creating a more diverse habitat for all sorts of creatures.
So it's like a natural landscaper.
I like that.
Creating clearings for new life to flourish.
Exactly.
I guess even a bad guy fungus can have a positive impact in the grand scheme of things.
It's all about balance, right?
Right.
And Armillaria Ostoyae, despite its destructive tendencies, is
Yeah.
part of that balance.
Oh, I'm definitely looking at this fungus in a new light now.
Me too. It's much more than just a tree killer.
It's a complex, interconnected part of the ecosystem.
And a reminder that nature is full of surprises.
Absolutely. But even if it's playing a role in the ecosystem, I'm guessing forest managers are still looking for ways to keep it in check.
Oh, absolutely.
What are the latest strategies in the fight against the humongous fungus?
Well, beyond replanting with resistant species,
Right.
researchers are getting creative.
Ooh, creative, I like.
One promising area is biocontrol.
Biocontrol, what's that?
Basically, using other organisms to fight the fungus.
So it's like a microscopic cage match.
Pretty much.
Fungus versus fungus.
Exactly.
Oh, Tom.
There's this one fungus, Hyphiloma fasciculare.
Hyphiloma fasciculare, okay.
That seems to be pretty good at inhibiting the growth of Armillaria Ostoyae.
So it's like the Armillaria Ostoyae's nemesis?
You could say that.
That's so cool.
They've done some lab and field trials,
Oh, wow.
and the results are promising.
That's great.
It's a more targeted and environmentally friendly approach than chemical treatments.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing.
So we're pitting fungi against each other.
That's some next-level ecological warfare.
It is. Nature is amazing.
What else is cooking in the world of Armillaria Ostoyae research? Any other mind-blowing discoveries on the horizon?
Oh, there's always something new popping up in the fungal world.
I bet.
One thing that continues to blow my mind
What's that?
is the sheer age and size of these organisms.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around it.
Remember, the humongous fungus is just one example.
Right.
Researchers are finding more and more of these massive fungal networks all over the world.
Wow. So there could be humongous fungi hiding right under our noses.
Exactly.
And the deeper they delve into their genetics and biology,
Yeah.
the more we're learning about their incredible resilience,
Right.
adaptability, and evolutionary history.
It's like unlocking a whole new chapter in the story of life on Earth.
It really makes you wonder what other secrets are lurking beneath the surface,
Oh, yeah.
just waiting to be discovered.
There's going to be tons of stuff we haven't even found yet.
It's like a whole hidden world down there.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the size or the age.
Right, even though those are impressive enough.
Yeah. 8,000 years old, covering square miles.
That's something out of science fiction.
But what really gets me
What's that?
is how it challenges our very concept of an individual.
You mean like what makes a self a self?
Exactly.
Especially when you have something like this giant interconnected network,
Right.
all essentially one being.
We tend to think of organisms as discrete entities with clear boundaries.
Yeah, like one tree, one animal, one mushroom.
But Armillaria Ostoyae blurs those lines.
It does, doesn't it?
It's this sprawling, interconnected web of life.
Constantly growing and changing.
Almost like a giant brain spread out beneath the forest floor.
That's a wild thought.
And as we learn more about these networks,
Yeah.
about how they communicate, how they adapt,
Right.
it's giving us a whole new perspective on the complexity of life on Earth.
It's like we're peeking into a hidden world.
A world that's always been there, but we're only just beginning to understand.
And it's humbling, isn't it?
It really is.
To realize that there's so much we don't know.
So much that's still out there to discover.
Makes all those sci-fi movies about alien life forms seem a little less far-fetched.
Right.
When you think about the weird stuff that's happening right here on our own planet.
Exactly. Who knows what other bizarre and wonderful creatures might be hiding out there.
Just waiting for us to find them.
Just waiting.
Well, that's a thought that'll keep me up at night.
Huh.
In a good way, I think.
I know what you mean.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Armillaria Ostoyae,
Yeah.
any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that we should never underestimate the power of nature
Absolutely.
or its ability to surprise us.
It's full of surprises, that's for sure.
Who knew that something as seemingly simple as a honey mushroom could hold so many secrets?
I know, right? It's incredible.
It's a reminder that there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
Always another layer to peel back, another mystery to unravel.
Well said.
Thank you.
And on that note, I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Armillaria Ostoyae.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners,
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in.
We hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you learned something new.
And maybe even got a little bit inspired.
To go out and explore the natural world around you.
You never know what you might find.
Because who knows, you might stumble upon the next humongous fungus.
That would be amazing.
Exactly. And until next time, stay curious, folks.
Stay curious.